A recent report from the Department of Justice and the FBI has officially stated that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in 2019 and did not possess a client list used for blackmail. And as you can imagine, people are taking it well online.
This hurts us all. Every single one of you out there in the nation, if you're watching, democracy died tonight.
But don't worry, the richest guy in the world is going to save us with his new party for the politically homeless, which is my idea. Epstein didn't kill himself. That was an old, ironic title that is now true. In this week of all weeks, it came out Sunday night, news dump in the middle of the night. The DOJ and FBI, as I mentioned, released a statement basically saying that the Epstein files are closed. There's no list. The end. I love that Elon said Trump was on the list, and then a week or two later, they're like, sorry, there is no list. Case closed. Nothing to see here, folks. We're going to wrap it up.
Please disperse.
For those of you who don't know, a couple of months ago, there were a lot of influencers that were given these binders that were filled with the names. It was supposed to be just like all these influencers got these binders from the Epstein files, and they came out and they waved them around and they were heavily redacted. And really, no one told us anything new that we didn't know at all. And I was joking back then, in case you were wondering about these Epstein files, the people who are waving these around looking like they just got excited about their new timeshare, I'm guessing, we're probably not going to learn anything about the Epstein files ever. And lo and behold, case closed. Go home, guys.
Let's wrap it up.
We also covered all of these guys who got positions in the White House and in the DOJ and at the FBI. And they came out and said, I've seen the stuff. And there's nothing there. And their audience has turned on them because they were using this idea of the Epstein files to get clicks and money and attention. And then they got into their positions of power and saw the files and came to the determination that it was boring and not a conspiracy at all. Now, a lot of this is chickens coming home to roost. If you're undermining the narrative and then you get power and you learn a lot of stuff that changes your opinion about things, you can ask yourself the question, is there something that would move me in a different direction than what I believe? And then you are presented with that evidence and you moved. This could have happened to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. This might have happened to them. They might have gotten in power. Or you can go the other direction, which is this goes much deeper than we thought. That they were absorbed by the deep state. There's powers much bigger than them, and inevitably someone will probably blame the Jews.
A flock of Jews flies quickly away, as avoiding confrontation is their best chance for survival.
These parties must have been insane that were on Epstein's Island. I've been to some ragers in my time. People destroyed houses, but I've never been to a party so insane that it ruined the United States of America. And it is hard to find anything that challenges the conspiracy narrative now that is Epstein didn't kill himself online. That is kind of the narrative we've all run with. We all go, we know that he actually didn't kill himself. No one really believes that he did kill himself. It's actually challenging to find anything that really counters that narrative, something that's grounded in facts that are provable instead of a counterfactual argument you can't ever prove, which is literally just every argument online now. The denial of the crime is proof of the crime. The absence of proof is proof of evidence. This is just, like I said, in some ways, chickens coming home to roost. Influencers, politicians using influencers took advantage of the moment, and now people don't believe them when they're saying, actually, there's no there.
Sorry.
The alternative argument is that the aristocracy will always protect itself no matter what, and that all these people were absorbed by the deep state, and now they're all lying for the cabal of pedos who run the world. We've talked a lot about how we now think pedos run the world. After the past 10 years, I don't blame anyone for believing that at all. The left labeled all kinds of things conspiracy that absolutely were not, which also opened the door to thinking every conspiracy is true. They labeled things like the Wuhan lab and the old man not having dementia, and truly anything that was very obvious they labeled as a conspiracy, as well as all the Russiagate hoax stuff that they were peddling in order to stir up stuff against their opponents. My default belief is that people are too dumb and too bad at keeping secrets to engage in a huge conspiracy.
On 9/11, we pretended like 4 planes were being hijacked when really we just rerouted them to Pennsylvania, then flew 2 military jets in the World Trade Center filled with more explosives and shot down all the witnesses in Flight 93 with an F-15 after blowing up the Pentagon.
The simplest answer is usually the most likely. I ask myself questions a lot, and there are questions like, what evidence would you have to present to me that would push my certainty in the opposite direction? And then I went down this rabbit hole online. I've been down all the rabbit holes of the people who believe this is a conspiracy. I know the stuff about Mossad and Epstein being an intelligence asset, which I do not rule out, by the way. Anything is possible. But I also have looked at a lot of the civil suits that were filed outside of the what we know from the DOJ and the FBI, and in discovery and a lot of this stuff, it came out that of the thousands of people, there were thousands of victims, only a couple said they were trafficked to third parties, and one of them was completely discredited, and the other one, the story just didn't hold up. So there, you would think there would be more of this if it was actually true. And a lot of people are on there and they're like, oh yeah, well, he's in jail for trafficking, and Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail for trafficking. Who were they trafficking? It's like he was trafficking girls for himself. She was trafficking people for him. I know people, there are pictures with Prince Andrew, all of these other things, but none of that's actually been proven in any court. And is it true that this was all buried? Perhaps, but we don't have evidence of that. And you would think that it would have come out. And now you're telling me that I'm supposed to believe that someone more powerful than Trump and Bondi, the FBI and the DOJ, someone more powerful than all of these people, Biden, when he was in charge, this has been through multiple administrations. Someone more powerful than them is pulling the strings. There is like this cabal of pedos who run the world. And generally where that conspiracy ends up is the Jews, or the Zionists, as people like to say. And so I'm not generally on board with the people who are pushing that, because if you can push that without blaming the Jews, maybe we'll have a discussion, but most people can't. That's kind of where I land on it. I'm not discrediting anyone who believes that it's a conspiracy, that there's some global cabal of people who are in charge of everything. I don't see any evidence of it, and that would mean they go above Trump, who's somehow always the most powerful person, but also has no power at all. Like, I don't understand. There's a lot of nonsense about him.